We back Mike Corzin, but the Ja Morant situation has been a disaster. It's almost over because they played like half of their games already. Like I think they're like 3-10, so that's 13. Hey, his jersey number. That's how long he has man for the suspension. His jersey number. That's why I've been watching the Grizzlies games. Wait till he come back. They can't beat no one. Well, they did beat the Clippers. But doesn't count. They still had Harden. Bro, you gonna let them do that to you? Bro, I'm glad I haven't been watching the Grizzlies. They gonna let dudes push you like that? You ain't gonna get up and go back at them? Get up and go back at them. Aldama? Yeah, Bane has to do it for you, bro. You let Bane do it for you? A smaller player? No wonder why I haven't been watching the Grizzlies. Whoop-de-doo! Foul, dang. I thought you had to punch someone.
Back in 2022, after winning 56 games with a starting lineup that had an average age of 24, the Memphis Grizzlies were supposed to be up next. They were supposed to take over the Western Conference as their star point guard Ja Morant made the leap to an MVP level player. Instead, less than 2
No,
years—
they got rid of him. They got rid of Patty Milk, bro. You should have kept Patty Milk. We needed another ball handler last season because of the Ja situation and Tyus Jones. He had to put it all on Tyus Jones. And I said, man, it's handled, but it's still suspect. That's why we need him. And he plays great defense, too.
Years later, Memphis without Ja has collapsed into the worst team in the Western Conference with 2 wins and 9 losses. And while the easy answer is to blame Ja Morant's suspension for the Grizzlies' start, Ja Morant is not the only problem. In 2022, the Grizzlies were 21-7 without Ja. The problem is not just Ja Morant's absence. Instead, as you are about to see, the Memphis Grizzlies as a team have made a rapid succession of moves that have been backfiring in their faces, and these moves will have long-term effects. So what's up, guys? Mike here, and by simply doing nothing, by simply not making trades, the Grizzlies currently could have Walker Kessler, Grayson Allen, and Jonas Valanciunas on this roster, but instead, in 2022, after it was seen as a disappointment when the Grizzlies lost to the Warriors in the second round of the playoffs, Memphis would make 3 big decisions that would ultimately seriously hurt them. As in backwards order here. For admitted dramatic effect, number 1, they drafted Walker Kessler, who this summer played on Team USA, and traded him to the Jazz for Jake LaRavia, who is currently averaging 3 points per game. 2, Memphis traded Grayson Allen for Sam Merrill. This season, Grayson Allen is good enough to start for the Phoenix Suns next to Devin Booker and Kevin Durant and is averaging over 12 points per game, while Sam Merrill is averaging 1 point per game in Cleveland. And 3, the one move Memphis has gotten credit for, bringing in Steven Adams.
That's a W move. It just get well too soon, Steve-O. Bro, Steven Adams, man, he's one of my favorite players in the NBA. He just does all the dirty work. You don't gotta worry about him. You know what I'm saying? The touches is nothing like that. You know he's gonna do his job every single night, every time he out there on the court, man. You love players like that.
Memphis has gotten credit for, bringing in Steven Adams, has ultimately proven to be a mistake through time. As while Adams has brought a toughness to this team, in 2022, Jonas Valanciunas averaged around 18 points and 11 rebounds.
Yeah, Giannis is more skilled, but Steven, he does more of the dirty work. We don't need no more skilled players. We got Bane getting better. We got Jaren getting better. I think Jaren should average like 25 and 10. Because Jaren need to do better. You have top 10 potential, buddy. And you got Ja. You don't need no more people to score the ball for you.
Bounce per game on 54% shooting. Adams' numbers
you got Smart and D Rose.
In comparison. In 2023, we had the same story. Jonas averaged around 14 points and 10 rebounds per game on almost 55% shooting in only 25 minutes per game, while also, most importantly, Jonas played in 79 games. Because while you can't control injuries, what you can control is the medical evaluations before trades. But before we continue, guys, I am very excited to thank DraftKings for
Max.
At the end of the day here,
last year, Cyber, we broke all these
Mike, you talking about Fabletics? I didn't know you shopped there.
Valanciunas has had both better stats and has been available to play at the end of both the 2022 and 2023 seasons, while Steven Adams has suffered through injuries. Adams played in only 7 of the Grizzlies' 12 playoff games in 2022 and also missed the entire playoffs in 2023. He is also missing the entire 2024 season with injuries, which, again, I will say injuries are unfortunate, but Valanciunas remains healthy and effective. These 3 moves in 2022 had a clear net negative effect on the Grizzlies roster in 2024. But then, going even further here, in this offseason, in a trade that netted the Boston Celtics Kristaps Porzingis, the Grizzlies got Marcus Smart, a player who plays the same position as their franchise star and is owed $21 million in 2026. How Ja and Marcus Smart are going to fit together on the court when Ja comes back remains to be seen. Regardless of that, it needs to be emphasized that the Grizzlies have been awful even though they went and signed
they practice together though. Cause Ja can practice and travel with the team, just can't play. He just can't be in the arena when they play. He gotta stay at the hotel.
Ja, and he has played 11 games in their starting lineup. Meanwhile, the Boston
Don't you dare get on that bus, Ja.
And are in first place in the Eastern Conference, as Kristaps Porzingis is averaging around 20 points per game. I do think the Luke Kennard trade for the Grizzlies is a good one when he's healthy. However, going 1 for 5.
But you know what I'm saying? He only got traded for one job, just to shoot the ball. Then he's not shooting the ball. He's basically a liability out there. He don't play no defense whatsoever. And he doesn't do anything else.
Manner after winning 50.
If Bane can improve your game, you can too, Luke Kennard. I remember when Bane was just a shooter. Look at him now, handling the ball, getting layups, dunking on people, playmaking. You can do the same, Luke Kennard. Maybe, you know what I'm saying? Talk to Bane after practice about how he got better.
56 games and earning the 2nd seed in the Western Conference is extremely rough. On top of this, the Grizzlies while also publicly selling him out as Memphis.
Yeah, that's wrong. That was wrong in Memphis. That was wrong. I don't blame Dillon for being mad at Memphis. I'll be mad at Memphis too. They probably made him the scapegoat. Dillon Brooks always been like that though.
They tell the world that they were not going to re-sign Dillon Brooks when Dillon Brooks was at his lowest. As fans, did we find it amusing that Brooks had just completed a villain arc and had been embarrassed by LeBron James, and then had been told by his own team that he was not going to be re-signed? Yes, that was amusing for fans. But in reality, is it really the right move as a franchise to publicly denounce your own player? The Grizzlies could have done this in private. They could have simply done this by not re-signing him. Brooks has, of course, began this season as the ultimate role player for a 6-3 Houston Rockets team that has shocked their league with their hot start, as Brooks himself is shooting 55% from the field. The
I want to say
also
something.
added another point guard this offseason in Derrick Rose, which they were given credit for bringing in a veteran to help Ja, simply because Derrick Rose is an older point guard who was an MVP when he was young. I'm a Bulls fan. Derrick Rose was my favorite player. Derrick Rose has never been credited with mentoring any young player in the NBA.
There's this thought that you might be helpful to Ja specifically.
Yeah.
Is that something you want to undertake?
I'm not going to tell you everything that we talked about, but I'm not here to babysit. I'm not here to babysit, micromanage, or any of that. I'm not here to be a plant.
I would love to believe in a Derrick Rose renaissance. Instead, his on-court play shows his best days are behind us, and also, why Memphis thought this was the right move or that he would be an effective backup at this point is extremely unclear to me. So while Ja Morant should certainly take his part of the blame here, if he had not done what he had done, he would be playing right now, and the Grizzlies would be, of course, better. What can Ja really do as he's coming out from his suspension? Work. And he has. In a recent article, we have heard the following from his coach. Quote, he's pushing every button to get himself prepared, but also help this team as best as he can through his brilliant IQ, his care factor, his voice, his presence, the spirit he brings. It's been awesome to see him take on, I don't want to say a leadership role, but just his investment in the group has been awesome. Learned a lot from him. He's learned a lot from me as well. So the Memphis Grizzlies coach Taylor Finch is saying that he's learned a lot.
You got the coach name wrong. It's Jenkins.
From Ja Morant, as Ja has gone through his suspension here. But at the end of the day, we need to ask ourselves, has Memphis put Ja in the best situation possible to return? And my answer on the court is no. They have made a string of obvious mistakes while we've all—
Oh, don't get fooled by the standings this early, bro. This happens every year. All the bad teams start off good, and once like December or Christmas time rolls around, they start being bad. It's just because all the good teams, they don't come into training camp in shape. They play themselves into shape in the regular season. Then once like December comes around, then they start to get back on the road. That's what y'all gotta understand. All the bad teams gonna start off good every season.
Watched on-court fight after on-court fight combined with the public sellout of Dylan Brooks, which to me just does not sit well. That's your player. You don't have to sell him out. I get all of NBA Twitter might have been clowning on him. Personally, though, I am really hoping, though, Ja comes back and regains that climb to MVP form we once saw.
Nice
So
pass.
I'm hoping this roster is able to figure it out. At the end of the day, Jaren Jackson Jr. and Desmond Bane are immense talents. I want to know what you think.
Jaren need to step it up, buddy. You need to step it up. I don't understand how you be averaging 5 rebounds a game, bro. You need to be at least 10. At least 10. At least I'm hard on Jaren. I know he can be a top 10 player in this league if he puts in the work and continues to improve and be consistent. That's why I'm hard on him, bro.
Subscribe,
Bro, Jaren, come on, man.
You never miss a video.
The coaches even know it because he was an all-star last year. The coaches voted him in. The coaches know it too.
If you're already subscribed, thank you so much for supporting. You're awesome. We all know it. And as always, have
Who getting crossed by Jesser's friend? Come on, Jaren.
That music. If you're still here while the music.
You supposed to be carrying this team right now.